tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. May Tripajan bless you all. Namo Buddhassa. You know, this is Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the discourse of the four foundation of mindfulness. We will continue our Dhamma Desana with the Dhammānupassanā āyatanapabbaṃ. What is the meaning? This is the Dhammānupassanā mean contemplation of the Dhamma object as Dhamma object. Ayatana mean the bases. You have 12 bases. Your internal bases as well as the external 6 bases. Internal 6 bases as well as external 6 bases. So for example, you have internal bases, the eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and the mind base. Or we can say the heart base also. And those are the internal bases. So, and you have external bases. External bases mean those are the object, right? Those are the object. That is the base, eye base or the eye door. Eye door itself is the eye base. And to the eye base, you know, what is the object? Object is the visible data. So visible, anything visible object, that is the external base, right? And sounds to the ear door, that is the object. So object itself become now base. So therefore, in the same way for the other doors also, so that you have external bases. So visible objects, sounds, odors, flavors, tangibles, and the Dhamma objects. This Dhamma object I will tell you in near future. Anyway, we will move to our āyatanapabbaṃ in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. You can see Dhammānupassanā āyatanapabbaṃ. That means, you know, Dhammānupassanā means the contemplation of the Dhamma object as Dhamma object. Ayatana means the 12 bases. Number 384, this is the paragraph. How Buddha explained to the meditator to practice your 12 bases, to discern your 12 bases before practicing Vipassana. Okay, let's move. Punachaparam bhikkhave bhikkhu dhammesu dhammānupassī viharati chasu ajjhattika bahiresu ayatanesu. Again, a monk abide contemplating Dhamma object as Dhamma objects concerning 6 internal and 6 external bases, sense bases, right? So how you want to practice with the 6 external bases and the 6 internal bases. Katancha vana bhikkhave bhikkhu dhammesu dhammānupassī viharati chasu ajjhattika bahiresu ayatanesu. Again, Buddha asks some question now. How does a monk abide contemplating the Dhamma objects as Dhamma object concerning 6 internal bases and the 6 external bases. And then Buddha is gonna explain now how you wanna practice. Idu bhikkhave bhikkhu chakkuncha pajanati. Now making first of all he pointed out the chakku base or the eye base, right? So eye base, ear base, like that this Dhammadesana is going on. So idu bhikkhave bhikkhu chakkuncha pajanati rupecha pajanati yancha tadubhayam uppajjati paticca uppajjati sanyojanam tancha pajanati. Bhikkhave mean monk, either in this asana, right? Because why Buddha explained in this asana? Because in this asana only this you can see the I in your with your wisdom faculty, right? And you can see the object with your wisdom faculty, and the sanyojan or the feathers, you can discern with your wisdom faculty in this asana only. That's the meaning, right? So idha vikave bhikkhu. So therefore, Buddha mentioned idha. I mean, in this asana, monk in this asana, bhikkhu chakkuncha pajanati. A monk understands the eye. Chakku mean the eye. Actually, this is the chakku. Chakku mean here. What the Buddha's intention? It says in the Atthakatha and the Tika. This is the eye sensitivity, right? Or we can say eye faculty, or eye translucency. Many names for the eye sensitivity, or eye translucency. Or we can say eye transparent element, because those are transparent. The eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity, and your tongue sensitivity, nose sensitivity, and the body sensitivity, those kind of five sensitivities are um, transparent or translucent. We can say actually real word is translucent. Very brilliant and bright, right? Like Patibhaga Nimitta. So then that is what is called translucence. Because if your eye sensitivity or the other sensitivity become very bright, then it is able to impinge the relevant object, right? Relevant object. That's the thing. Therefore, it is what is called pasada rupa in the Pali. Pasada rupas, or we can say translucent element, right? Translucent element. Anyway, now Buddha mentioned ida bhikkave bhikkhu chakkuncha pajanati. Monk in this sasana, bhikkhu understands the eye sensitivity, right? Or bhikkhu understands the eye, right? Not the muscular eye. So I mean here, the meaning is the eye sensitivity. And rupecha pajanati, he understands the visible objects, rupe. And yancha tadubhayang paticca uppajyati sanyojanan tancha pajanati. And he understands the feather that arises depending on these two. These two mean chakku and the rupa. That means your eye sensitivity as well as your visible data, visible objects. Depending on those two, there arises feathers. One feather, one feather after one feather, right? Feather mean, you know what is the meaning of feather? That means that is the bond or tie. So that anything that binds you or ties you in the round of rebirth, countless round of rebirth, or beginningless round of rebirth. Therefore, it is what is called sanyojana in Pali. That means feather, right? So feather means it binds you in the round of rebirth, right? In incessant round of rebirth, it binds you. Therefore, it is the feather. Okay, so sanyojana means that's the meaning. Understand that. So again, I will tell monk in this sasana, bhikkhu understands the eye sensitivity and the visible objects and the feather that arises depending on these two. And then three things here. He understands the eye and the object and the feather, right? Three things. And the fourth thing, yathacha anuppannassa sanyojanassa uppado hoti tancha pajanati. Yatha mean how here. And he understands how the feather that has not yet arisen comes to arise, right? Uppado hoti comes to arise. Anuppannasa sanyojanasa mean the feather that has not yet arisen, now uppado hoti comes to arise. He tancha pajanati. He understands. Okay. And then yathacha uppannassa sanyojanassa pahanam hoti tancha pajanati. And the and, cha mean and, right? Now, this is the fifth thing. Fifth thing in this section, according to the I base. So you must know how to practice this thing. Yatha mean now he understands, right? He tancha pajanati mean he understands um, how the the feathers that has not yet risen, sorry, that has uppannas, that has arisen, now arisen, is eradicated. Pahanam hoti, right? It is eradicated. Yathacha uppannasa sanyojanasa pahanam hoti tancha pajanati. This is the fifth thing. That means he understands how the feather that has now arisen is eradicated. And then sixth thing, yathacha pahinassa sanyojanasa ayating anupado hoti tancha pajanati. Pahinassa sanyojanasa mean the feathers that has abandoned, right? Abandoned, that has abandoned, or we can say that has eradicated, has been eradicated. So ayating mean in near future, in the future, anupado hoti mean not a risk, not will not arise, will not arise. So therefore I will translate the whole sentence. So he understands how the feather that has now been eradicated will in future no longer arise. That is the meaning. And then therefore, how many here? Sixth thing Buddha mentioned how you wanna practice this meditation up to the Nibbana. Take you wanna practice, you wanna discern this sixth thing. So again I will tell monk, try to understand. Monk in this asana, a bhikkhu understands the eye and the visible object and the feather that arises depending on these two, sanyojana. And he understands how the feather that has not yet arisen comes to arise. And he understands how the feather that has now arisen already is eradicated. And he understands how the feather that has now been eradicated will in future no longer arise. So in this is the way how you want to practice. So all thing that means how this feathers comes to your mind, and then their eradication as well as their full complete cessation, right? Everything we can go to the Atthakatha and understand. Okay, the second door or second base, right? Sotancha pajanati, saddecha pajanati. Yancha tadubhayam paticca uppajjati sanyojanam tancha pajanati. The other door, right? Meditator understands the ear's door or ear, sound objects and the feathers that arises depending on these two. And he understands how the feather that not yet generated comes to arise. And he understands how the feather that has now been generated is eradicated. Right? And he understands how the feather that has now been eradicated will no longer arise in future. Right? That is the same way when we discuss in the Ido, right? And the third door or third base, right? Third base and third base mean this base has to. If we learn this thing, you have two bases in each section, right? That means if you have eye, you have color object, and if you have ear, then you have sound object. That means two bases. And now here also the nose base and the flavor, right? Order. Gahanancha pajanati, gandhecha pajanati. Yancha tadubhayam paticca uppajjati sanyojanam tancha pajanati. And meditator understands the nose the order object and the feather that arises depending on these two, right? And he understands then the third one, yathacha anupannasa sanyojanasa upado hoti tancha pajanati. In the same way, let's read all these things up to the end. Yathacha uppannasa sanyojanasa pahanam hoti tancha pajanati. Yathacha pahinasa sanyojanasa ayating anupado hoti tancha pajanati. Again, I will tell, meditator understands their knows the other objects and the fetters that arises depending on these two. And he understands how the fetter that has not yet arisen comes to arise. And he understands how the fetter that has now been arisen already is eradicated. Right? And he understands how the fetter that has now been eradicated will no longer arise in future. In the same way, every basis you must know in this way. And then let's move to another door over the base. Jivhancha pajanati, rasecha pajanati. Yancha tadubhayang paticca uppajjati sanyojanam tancha pajanati. Yathacha anupannasa sanyojanasa upado hoti tancha pajanati. Then the fifth thing of yathacha uppannasa sanyojanasa pahanam hoti tancha pajanati. Yathacha pahinasa sanyojanasa ayating anupado hoti tancha pajanati. Now the tongue base and the taste object, right? That means that is also base. Object itself become base here. And meditator understands the tongue and the taste object and the feather that arises depending on these two. And he understands how the fetter that has not yet arisen comes to arise. And he understands how the fetter that has now been arisen is eradicated, right? And he understands how the fetter that has now been eradicated will no longer arise in future. Okay, let's move to body dot or the body base and the objects, right? Tangible objects. And kayancha pajanati pottabhecha pajanati. Yancha tadubhayang uppajjati sanyojanam paticca uppajjati sanyojanam tancha pajanati. Meditator understands the body or the body sensitivity. He understands the tangible objects and the feather that arises depending on these two. And then yathacha anupannasa sanyojanasa upado hoti tancha pajanati. He understands how the feather that has not yet arisen comes to arise. And again, yathacha uppannasa sanyojanasa pahanam hoti tancha pajanati. Yathacha pahinasa sanyojanasa ayating anupado hoti tancha pajanati. And he understands how the feather that has now been arisen is eradicated, right? And again, he understands how the feather that has now been eradicated will no longer arise in future, because that means in the arahantship, right? Or in the Maggapala only those feather will no longer rise, right? We will discuss those things. And the sixth base, right? Sixth pair of bases, right? So manancha pajanati, dhammecha pajanati, yancha tadubhayang paticca uppajjati sanyojanam tancha pajanati. Meditator understands the mind, right, and the dhamma object, and the feather that arises depending on these two. And yathacha anupannasa sanyojanasa upado hoti tancha pajanati. Yathacha uppannasa sanyojanasa pahanam hoti tancha pajanati. Yathacha pahinasa sanyojanasa hayating anupado hoti tancha pajanati. He understands how the feather that has not yet arisen comes to arise, right? And he understands how the feather that has now been arisen is eradicated. And he understands how the feather has been eradicated will no longer arise in future, right? Same thing going on up to the sixth pair of bases, right? So then we must understand deeply while going to the Atthakatha. Okay, before that, let's do the other thing also. Iti ajatang va dhammesu dhammānupassi virati, bahidda va dhammesu dhammānupassi virati, ajata bahidda va dhammesu dhammānupassi virati. That means in this way, meditator understands the meditator contemplates, right? Contemplates the Dhamma objects as Dhamma objects in internal and the external, and both internal and external. This is the way how to practice then the Vipassana and the Maggapala, right? Vipassana up to Maggapala, starting with this paragraph. So we will do later on this thing, and before that we just wanna understand the pair of bases. Buddha has given these 6 paragraphs, right? So we will move to Atthakatha. What Atthakatha says, commentary. Atthakatha means the commentary. So āyatanapabbaṃ Vannana means the description. That means that is the explanation. Oh, this is how they mean the Buddha and the other Arahant in the past, or in the ancient Arahant and the Buddha, how they enlighten this thing, this āyatanapabbaṃ, to you to practice up to the Nibbana. If you practice in this way only, you can reach, or you can touch the Nibbana, Magga and Phala. If you practice in another way around, right, you can't attain to the Nibbana. That's the thing. You keep this in mind, and don't blame me, right? I'm telling the same thing means same path I'm explaining. And this is the way how to practice, right? Okay, let's read out and then try to understand this thing. Number 384, āyatanapabbaṃ, now the description of the 12 bases. Evaṃ pañcakkhandha vasena Dhammānupassanā vibhajitva idāni āyatana vasena vibhajitum punaca paranti ādimāha. Here, pañcakkhandha means 5 aggregate. Then in the section of 5 in this Dhammānupassanā, you have first section is the 5 hindrances section, and then the second is the 5 aggregate. So now we finish 5 aggregate. Now we reach up to the āyatanapabbaṃ. So then they mention in this way, evaṃ pañcakkhandha vasena Dhammānupassanā vibhajitva. Vibhajitva means vibhajati means explore. So vibhajitva means after exploring, right? Vibhajitum means in order to explore, right? Okay, now what is the meaning? After exploring Dhammānupassanā as 5 aggregate, now in order to explore it as 12 bases, the Blessed One stated again monk and the like passage. So tattha mean in this passage, āyatanapabbaṃ, chasu ajjhattika bāhiresu āyatanesu ti chakkung sotaṃ gahanam jivhaṃ kāyo manoti imesu chasu ajjhattukesu rūpaṃ saddho gandho raso pottabbo dhammoti imesu chasu bāhiresu. What is this chasu ajjhattika bāhiresu? Chasu mean 6. And ajjatika mean internal, bahira mean external. So ayatan mean the bases. So therefore you have 6 internal bases and 6 external bases. Pair of bases. 6 pair of bases. So chakku, what are the 6 internal bases? Chakku, the eye, ear, sotam, gahanam, nose, jivha, tongue, kaya, body, mano mean the mind. And those are the 6 internal bases. Imesu, chasu, ajjatikesu. And rupam, that be the objects of those bases, right? The first internal bases, relevant object, right? First internal base is the chakku, relevant object is the rupa, or the color object here, or we can say visible objects, right? Visible data. So that means this visible data is the base, right? Base of the external base, because this is outside of the eye sensitivity. That's the meaning. External mean, that's the meaning. Then if it is sound object, then the what is the base is the sota, or we can say that is the ear sensitivity. Now sadda, or the sound object, is not in the ear sensitivity, so therefore it is outside of that, therefore it is external. In that way you need to understand. And gandho mean the odor, and raso is the flavor, and pottabbo tangibles, dhammo is the dhamma objects. We will discuss what this dhamma object in the future. And those are the imesu chasu bahiresu. Those are the 6 external bases. Why external? You know now. Chakkuncha pajanatiti. And now they're gonna explain everything, right? You need to be very patient, because this explanation is very huge, and it has very profundity, right? So therefore you need to keep your eye on this section. Chakkuncha pajanati. Now what is the meaning of chakkuncha pajanati? He understands the eye. What is the meaning of that? That means chakku pasadang yatava sarasa lakkana vasena pajanati. What is chakku pasadang? Eye sensitivity, or eye translucency, or we can say eye faculty, right? Eye transparent element. Many names for this, right? 4 names basically. So this chakku pasada, or the eye transparent element, yathava sarasa lakkana vasena pajanati. He understands. Pajanati means he understands. Actually, this understands mean it has deep meaning, not just understand superficially, right? You must practice this. How to practice? I will tell, right? So, what is the explanation here? You must practice as a samatayanika vipassaka. You must practice jhana state, right? Jhana condition, or up to the 4th jhana, or up to the 8th jhana, right? And then after practicing jhana, you must practice 4 element meditation up to the rupa kalapa state, and you must discern each rupa kalapa, or the or your what called the subatomic particles. You must discern every paramatta, or the ultimate materiality, right? Every ultimate materiality, maybe 8 kind of materiality, or maybe 10 kinds of, or 9 kinds of, right? So those kind of materiality you need to discern, and then you must practice materiality meditation, right? Materiality meditation. Materiality meditation means you must practice your all 6 sense bases. How in eye base, how many rupa kalapa, how many different rupa kalapa, how many kinds of rupa kalapa, like that. I do, or the eye base, you have 7 kind of rupa kalapa. What are they? I will tell again. This I have told many times, right? Many times. The first one is eye decad kalapa, chakku dasaka kalapa. Or the other thing, kaya dasaka kalapa, body decad kalapa. And then you have sex decad kalapa. Or you can say that is what's called Bahava Rupa, right? Bahava Dasaka Kalapa. And then you have Jivitanavaka Kalapa, non-ad Kalapa, life non-ad Kalapa, right? And then you have Chittaja Ojatamaka Kalapa, that is the mind-born materiality, 8 kind of materiality, mind-born materiality, and then nutrition-born materiality, and then your temperature-born materiality. So out how many altogether? You have 7 kind of materiality, 7 kind of only, right? No 8 kind of, no 9 kind of, like. And if you discern those 7 kind, that means 7 kinds, but uncountable, right? All together uncountable. So if you focus your eye door in near future, you can see uncountable rupa kalapa. But how many group, or how many kinds of? 7 kinds of only, right? So now what is this pajanati? I need to understand you too. I need to make you to understand this pajanati word. Pajanati means just if we say understand, that's a deep meaning. That means you need to focus your ido up to the rupakalapa state, and then you must discern 10 kinds of chakku dasaka kalapa. 10 kinds of mean 10 kinds of materiality. That is the chakku dasaka kalapa. That means earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, and color, order, flavor, nutritive essence, and then your jivitindriya or the life faculty. And the last one, 10th materiality, is the eye sensitivity or the eye translucency, chakupasada. So this way understanding is what is called pajanati, right? This is the discernment, right? Actually, we can say discerns. He discerns, right? He discerns the, I mean, he discerns the chakopasada or the eye translucency, right? How he discerns? Yathava sarasa lakkana vasena. How he discerns? Because you know the sarasa lakkana mean you have a natural feature, right? And natural characteristic, and you have their function and their manifestation, how your mind manifest it, right? The one materiality or group of materiality, how your mind understands that, right? That is the manifestation. And then proximate cause, right? Proximate cause. So those folk, you can discern one materiality, paramattha materiality or the ultimate materiality, in 4 ways. Again, I will tell characteristic, usually natural characteristic, and then your function, not your function, that what called the ultimate materiality, function of that materiality, and then manifestation of that materiality to the mind, and then proximate cause, right? Proximate cause. And in this way, that is what's called Lakhanadi Chatukka, right? Lakhanadi Chatukka means 4 defining devices, right? So you use these 4 defining devices to every materiality. How many materiality, kinds of materiality? 28 kinds of materiality you have in the body. You must discern those things. But here, according to this section, you must discern your eye sensitivity and your color object, right? Color object. Okay. So yathava sarasa lakkana vasena mean that is the meaning. If you go to Tika, it says in this way. Chakkuncha pajanati. Let's move to the Tika also, right? You can say Chakkuncha pajanati. That means, what is the meaning? Chakkuncha pajanati means he understands the eye, right? What is the meaning? Etta chakku nama, in this phrase, what is the chakku or the eye? I mean pasada chakku. Pasada chakku means eye sensitivity, not the na sasambhara chakku. That means, what is the sasambhara chakku mean? The whole rupakalapa in the eye. I told you how many rupakalapa? 7 kind of rupakalapa. So not the 7 kind of rupakalapa, whole rupakalapa in the ido, that is the eye sensitivity, right? And napi dibba chakku adikanti aha chakku pasada. And not the divine eye also, right? Not the divine eye, not the total rupakalapa is in the ido. That is the directly, that is the eye transparent element, right? That is they explain those things very clearly. Yang sandhaya utang yang cakku cakunang catunam mahabhutanang upadaya pasadoti cha saddo cakkamana vakkamanatta samucchato. That means, actually, if you see the chakku pasada, that means this pasada yang cakku catunam mahabhutanam upadaya pasado. So this chakku is the the eye sensitivity is the sensitivity of the four great element, right? Sensitivity of the 4 great element. Therefore, you should know those things, right? Then yathava sarasalakkana vasenati. What is the yathava sarasalakkana vasenati? Yathava sarasalakkana vasenati. That means you should discern these eye or the eye sensitivity with the four defining devices, right? Lakhana, rasa, pachuppatana, padatana, or natural characteristic, and then function, manifestation, and the proximate cause. In this way, in this sense, you need to discern. That's the meaning. So abhiparitassa attano roop asano rasassa cheva lakkanasa vasena. Okay, that means aviparitasya mean as it is, right? What is the eye sensitivity? As it is, you should know. Rasa mean the function, and lakkana mean the natural characteristic. In the same way, like that, you need to discern in four ways, right? Four ways. Then they're gonna explain what is this, right? Then how you gonna discern this eye sensitivity in while focusing your chakku dasaga kalapa or the eye decad kalapa. How you wanna discern this eye sensitivity in four ways? They explain in this way. Rupesu avinchana kichasa cheva Rupa bhutapasada lakkanassa cha dattukamata nidana kammasamuttana bhutapasada lakkanassa cha vasena atto. What is the meaning here? They explain in this way, right? They explain before that actually. Okay, then what is the now? Now what is this eye? I mean the chakkuncha pajanati mean he understands the eye. That means chakkupasada. How you wanna understand? You owing to its natural characteristic, function, manifestation, and the proximate cause, right? So characteristics. Now the feature or the characteristic of the eye translucency is the bhutapasada. Here it says rupabi gataraha bhutapasada lakhanas. What is the meaning? Rupabi gataraha. Bhutapasada mean the sensitivity of the not the sensitivity. It is the transparency of the mahabhuta dhatu. Or we can say it is the transparency of the four great element, right? Four great elements. So then, therefore, what is the characteristic of the eye translucency? Is the translucency of the four great element. You must know this thing in this way and this one, right? It is the translucency of the four great element, and that is actually ready to impinge the color object, right? So therefore, it is said rupa abhigataraha, right? Rupa mean the color object, abhigataraha, right? Abhigataraha mean ready to impinge the color object, right? Ready to impinge the color object. So now you have translucency of the transparency of the foreground element that has the ability to impinge the color object, right? Or touch, we can say very loosely, touch the color object. The good word is impinge. Okay, now therefore, in this way, you need to understand, right? How you wanna practice this thing. I explained this thing in the case of materiality meditation. In the case of āyatanapabbaṃ or the anapana section, I explained this thing in the materiality meditation section. So I will tell again how to practice this thing. That means as a samatayaniga vipassaka, you just re-establish your fourth jhana, right? Whatever the fourth jhana, if you have anapana sati meditation up to the fourth jhana, re-establish that while practicing this. And another, for example, if you would like to enter into or re-establish your white kasina up to the fourth jhana, then that of course, right? Or aloka kasina, that of course. So anyway, but if you like to, maybe you are longing for to attain or to re-establish your what call Nila kasina or the blue kasina, right? So that's also possible according to your will, right? Anyway, whatever the whatever the jhana you wanna enter upon, so please enter upon and then emerge from that when it light become brilliant and bright, and then you need to focus your eye do, right? Eye base, right? Eye do. While focusing, you need to go deep into the eye, right? Deep into the eye mean, this chakku dasaka kalapa or the eye decad kalapa are available deep inside the eye, close to the brain, right? Close to the brain, deep inside the eye, what is called maybe retina, right? Retina. Up to that, you need to focus, and then you can see 7 kinds of rupa kalapa, kinds of rupa kalapa, but uncountable. You must know this thing, right? Uncountable mean maybe chakku dasaka kalapa many billion types, right? Maybe kaya dasaka kalapa billion kinds of, like that, right? So therefore uncountable. Now if you see the chakku, if you see the color, your eye base, right? And they all rupa kalapa are arise and pass away, arise and pass away. So then you can show those things. That means rupa kalapa arise mean within the rupa kalapa you have ultimate materiality, right? Ultimate materiality arise and pass away, arise and pass away. So you must see those things. And before passing away, you just focus the rupa kalapas, many rupa kalapas color, right? Near that, right? Near, you can see the eye translucence. Okay, oh, you can see many kinds of your what called the chakku dasaka kalapa, eye decades kalapa, many billions kinds of chakku dasaka kalapa you can see. So, and again, your kaya dasaka kalapa also many billion types, but the thing is, those are the same, right? Those you can see those are the same. That means eye translucency also brilliant and bright, and the kaya or body translucency also brilliant and bright. Because of that reason, you can differentiate, right? You can't differentiate while seeing this thing. Now Buddha mentioned what's the method, right? Buddha mentioned, so chakkuncha pajanati, rupecha pajanati, right? And now you focus many rupa kalapas color, right? Many rupa kalapas color, because rupecha pajanati, not the rupancha pajanati, right? You just understand this thing. Why Buddha mentioned in this way? Because if you focus one kalapas color, right, then actually this is not the way, right? You must focus many kalapas many kalapas color, right? Therefore Buddha mentioned rupe cha pajana, right? Rupe mean plural form, rupang is the singular form. So therefore uh, you focus the color of many rupa kalapa, right? Group of rupa kalapa. Then that color impinge on the eye decad kalapa, right? Eye decad kalapa in the eye translucency. So at that time you can understand this is the eye translucency and not the body translucency, right? So this is the way how to practice, and then you can see this rupa abhigataraha bhutapasada lakkanam. That means the eye translucent. Sorry, this is the eye translucency. That means is the translucency of the four great element that is ready to impinge the color object, right? That's the meaning. So that means you can see the impingement, impinging of the color into the chakku pasada, right? Or the eye translucency. So in this way, this is the discernment. How you gonna practice this discernment? Not the superficially. If you go superficially, you can't reach the nibbana. Okay, now the other, you have two kinds of lakhana or the characteristic. Let's move to the another characteristic also according to the Tika, right? Dattu kamata nidana kamma samuttana bhutappasada lakhanasa vasenati attoa. The other lakhana, right? Lakhana mean the characteristic. So dattu kamata. Dattu kamata mean, kamata mean craving, right? Dattu mean to see the color, right? To see the color. So then craving to see the color, nidana, depending on the craving to see the color. So those are but kamma samuttana. Those are kammic. Those are reason based on your kamma, right? Based on your kamma. Oh, it has kammic spring based on your karma. And Bhutappasada means that is the four great element. Bhutappasada means the translucency or the sensitivity of the, or we can say transparency of the four great element, right? Because of the transparency of the four great element, you can see there arises Chakkupasada or the eye translucency, another rupa, right? Another materiality, but you must know this has come from your karmic power, right? Karmic power in the first past life. So those things also you can discern. You must discern in the case of actually these are discerned in the case of Pache Pariganyana, cause discerning knowledge also. But before that also in the case of Rupa Kammatthana or the materiality meditation, you must practice with the four defining devices, right? Lakkana Rasa Pachupatana Padattana, like. Okay, now so here why it says that to kamata nidana. That to kamata nidana mean what is that? That to kamata nidana mean craving for to see the color, right? Craving to see the color. Okay, here you can discern this while practicing dependent origination. Anyway, in the past life, right? In the past life, due to your craving and clinging in order to see the color, you had done some wholesome action, right? In the past. And because of that means you have done wholesome action in order to see the color, right? Color. Because why in order to see the color? Because of your craving, right? Because of your clinging. If I mention color, craving and clinging, avidya or the ignorance is included implicitly. You must know this thing. I always told those things. If Buddha mentioned, right? If Buddha mentioned craving, you must know that clinging also there, right? Implicitly is included. And if you see the craving and clinging, or if you see the craving, in the Dhammadesana, that means clinging and ignorance or the delusion also is included implicitly, right? Or clinging is mentioned by the Buddha Upadana. If the clinging is mentioned, you must know that craving and ignorance are included implicitly, right? And in the same way, you must know this thing. That means that not only craving, clinging, and avijja also, right? So then, actually, if you do the kusala kamma or the wholesome deeds in the past, then there arise volitional formation and karmic force in your mind at that time, right? Volitional formation means, what is the volitional formation? That means your mind and the mental factor at the particular deed or the action, good action. That is what's called the sankhara, volitional formation. So sankhara mean, that means your mind movement, sankhara mind movement arise and pass away. So but it leaves the karmic power, karmic force, or karmic spring. It has the karmic force. So because now you have five causes, then craving, clinging, and avijja, or the ignorance, and you did the out of that you did the but you are craving to see the color of somebody's, right? That means in another life, maybe you are in the human, let's say you just aspirate to become a human, and you just focus their color also, his color or her color also, right? And based on that, that means you crave for the color, you long for the color. And now did the kusala come also, right? Volition, it has volition and formation, sankhara, and the karmic power. Now if you have craving, right? If you have craving, that I told that craving has craving, the clinging and ignorance are implicitly included. And now you have five causes, right? Five causes. For example, let's take an example now. Suppose your wish in the past life was to become president in the country, right? In some country, maybe USA or somewhere, right? By doing what is the kusala karma? Let's say like by doing dana to the bhikkhu or something like that, or by doing donation to the orphanage or somewhere, right? So you did the kusala karma, or whatever you just offer your wealth to the shrine place, right? Shrine pagoda, like that. Any kusala karma, right? I just told three only. By doing the dana to a monk here, let's say, right? And this is the kusala karma, and what your wish is to become a president, right? In a country. While making such a wish, you are wrong knowing, right? Wrong knowing to the real existence of the president life, right? Actually, that is the ignorance. Because of the ignorance, avijja, you just focus a being like a president, right? Because you didn't understand, or you haven't understood Four Noble Truths, right? Four Noble Truths with the Arahant path knowledge, right? And the fruition knowledge. If you did not attain to the Arahantship, only you make a wish to become such kind of person, right? So now you know the first desire to the president life is the craving, right? And then repeated desire, attachment to the that life is the clinging. So based on avijja, or the ignorance or the delusion, or we can say ignorance or delusion, or we can say illusion also, right? Illusion. So based on avijja, you have craving and clinging, right? To the president life. But you know, in the ultimate sense, president is nothing, right? But the aggregate of mentality and materiality only. So those materiality and mentality, you know, always arise, always pass away, and very rapidly. This thing very rapidly. If you see in the rupa materiality, and then the materiality and mentality meditation, or while practicing vipassana, real vipassana, you can see those phenomena are always arising, always passing away. Okay, now you know, if you know this thing, right? You never want to become a human being or deva or some brahma, right? But you still didn't attain to the arahantship. Based on that, because of that reason, you have ignorance, right? So now you know those phenomena always arise, always pass away very quickly. However, if you attach his color or the president color, it is the craving for color, right? That is the craving for color. So if you long for his sounds, and if you longs for orders, flavors, tangibles, and dhamma objects, they are the craving for sounds and the like objects, right? So in this way, you have craving, right? You have craving to see, to hear, to flavor. You had a craving, right, in the past life. They are, because of that reason only you were this life has a reason now. So anyway, your wholesome deed, right, the donation or generosity, is the volitional formation, that is the sankhara, right? They arise with the object and the mind, the object is the middle and the mind and the mental factor around which, right? So now that your wholesome deed, sankhara, is always it arrives very quickly and pass away, right? This is therefore it is impermanent. But before passing away, volitional formation leave behind karmic power, right? Karmic power. So now that karmic power has the potential to make you as a president in whatever your life, right? Maybe in future life. That is the example we took. So here you please discern the karmic force, right? Karmic force in the sankhara or the volitional formations. And then that volitional formation, karmic power in the volitional formation, and you must discern the eye sensitivity in the eye dekat kalapa, right? You must discern the karmic force in the volitional formation and then discern the eye dekat kalapa. You discern the eye sensitivity or eye translucent element, and you should discern back and forth between these two to see their causal relationship, right? To see the causal relation, maybe you need to do many times, right? Back and forth, going back and forth, and you must discern those things. So once you see it, right, if you see the karmic force that because of the karmic force that your since eye translucency has risen, then you understand that the 5 past causes produce chakku dasaka kalapa, right? Chakku dasaka kalapa. The eye translucency, the transparency of the foregrate element, right? Translucency of the foregrate element is the eye transparent element, right? So in this way, you can discern very clearly. This is not the difficult thing to you to discern if you attain jhana, right? If you attain jhana. But how you want to discern this thing? If you do not have jhana, you must practice 4 element meditation. Based on that upachara samadhi or the access concentration, you must practice materiality meditation to see this thing, right? So not only to the jhanic people and to the without jhana people also, the practice is same thing, same way, no difference practice. If you do the different practice, you can't attain to the nibbana. That's the very quick answer, right? Okay, and this is the way to discern the second characteristic of the eye transparent element. Second characteristic means this the Dattu Kamata Nidana Kamma Samuttana Bhutapasada Lakhana, right? Dattu Kamata Nidana, that means, what is the meaning? Dattu Kamata Nidana means the translucency of the foregrate element produced by the Kamma, right? Depending on craving to see the color, right? Craving to see the color. That's how this discernment. But anyway, not so difficult, right? That's why I told you to please attain jhana. Buddha mentioned in every sutta, maybe 99%, 99%, 99.999%. You can see in the suttas, please produce jhana, right? Because of this reason, Buddha knows that if you produce jhana, this discernment is very easy to you to practice. Okay, now let's move. What is this rupesu avinjana rasa? Right, the other one function. What is the function of this chakku pasada? Right now, characteristic finish. right? Characteristic finish. What is the characteristic? That is the translucency or the transparency of the foreground element, which is ready to impinge the color object. That is the characteristic. Or this color object, or this translucency, which has comic power to see the which has comic power, that depends on the craving to see the color object, right? So the two characteristic, and in this way you need to practice, and then the characteristic finish, and then we will go to the function, because it says yathava sarasa lakkana vasina, you must know. Yathava sarasa lakshana mean you must discern this thing with the four defining devices, right? Okay, now function, rasa, right? Lakkana rasa, or the characteristic function now. What is the function? Rupesu avinjana rasan, right? Function here not mentioned, right? But I will tell to you. Rupesu avinjana rasan. It says in this way. Avinchana kichasa, right? Rupesu avinchana kichasa, above, right? If you see those things, rupesu avinchana kichasa. What is the rupesu? Avinchana mean fetch, right? Avinchana mean pick up, bring. That means rupesu avinchana mean the function is to bring the ido mental process to the visible data, right? That means you have ido, right? Ido, you have your eye sensitivity, and now eye sensitivity, your color object impinge there, right? Impinge there, and ido-mental process arises, right? Ido-mental process arises. So then, what is the rupesu avinchana rasang mean? To bring the ido-mental process to the visible data, right? So then your ido-mental process can only be arisen when when the color object on the eye transparent element only, right? When it impinges on the eye transparent element. So if there is no eye transparent element, then by the comic power, right? Because your eye transparent element, the cause is karma. So if there is no eye transparency element by the comic power, so no idle mental process is going on. Keep it in mind, right? That means you are blind. You are blind. That means somebody, if they have not having eye transparency, they are blind, right? That's the thing. Okay, so then what is the function to bring the mental process to the visible data, right? Visible objects. Rupesu avinjana rasa. And then manifestation, right? Manifestation, pachupatthana, right? Pachupatthana. What is the pachupatthana or the manifestation? Chakku vinyanas adhar bhava pachupatthana. Actually, not here. It is not mentioned here, but you must practice in this way. That's why I'm telling, right? The chakku vinyanas adhar bhava means to act as a foundation or the base or footing or rooting for the eye consciousness, right? So to act as a foundation for the eye consciousness and its associated mental factors, right? Chakku vinyanasa adhara bhava. You know now, chakku vinyana arises with not arises with the mind. Only mind doesn't arise. That doesn't arise. But other associated mental factors also, phassa, vedana, sanya, chetana, ekagata, jivitindriya, manasikara, all the contact, feeling, perception, and volition, and your attention, and one-pointedness, and the jivitindriya, life faculty. Those kind of seven mental factors plus chakku vinyana, or the eye consciousness, only arise the eye consciousness mean associated with the mental factors only, right? Not on the eye consciousness only. So every mind moment, mind as well as the associated mental factors are there. Okay, now what is this So that means Chakku Vinyanasa Adharbhava Pachupattana means the manifestation is to act as a foundation for the eye consciousness and the associated mental factor. Right? So actually, there are uncountable eye transparent element in the IDO. I told you before also. However, the eye consciousness arise just depending on only one eye transparent element, right? You have uncountable eye translucency or eye decad kalapa, right? Uncountable. But your eye consciousness arises only in the one decad kalapa, right? One transparent only. So that's why Buddha mentioned in Desana Pali, right? Chakkuncha pajanati, rupecha pajanati. Right? Here chakkung mean eye transparent element. Right? It is a singular form. And rupecha pajanati. Rupecha pajanati mean he understands the visible object. Right? Visible object. Rupe mean the color object. So because this is because the eye transparent element can take the color of the multiple rupakalapas, right? Multiple rupakalapas uh, as the object at the same time, right? The eye transparent element can take color of the multiple rupakalapa, not only color of the bunch of rupakalapa. Eye translucency can take, right? So therefore, at the same time, therefore, Buddha mentioned here, according to the practice, Chakkuncha pajanati, rupecha pajanati. Chakkun means you have one, that means there your eye consciousness arises in the one eye translucency, right? Because of that reason. But eye translucency can take many bunch of Rupakalapa's color, right? I think that is enough to you to understand. Okay, now let's move to the proximate cause, right? Proximate cause, Padatthana, what is called. Here not mentioned, but I will tell. So, what is the Padatthana? It says in the Dhammāsangani book, right? Dhammāsangani book, it says, Dattu Kamata Nidana Kammaja Bhuta Padatthana, right? Dattu Kamata Nidana Kammaja Bhuta Padatthana. What is the meaning? Dattu Kamata Nidana means depending on the craving to see the color, right? Kammaja Bhuta mean Kammaja mean by the kamic power. Bhuta mean Bhuta mean the four great element, right? That is the four great element. So then four great element, right? Four great element which has arisen has been arisen with the kamic power, right? Kamic power, but depending on those those materiality, but depending on the craving to see the color object. So therefore, proximate cause is the foreground element produced by the kamma that depend on the craving for colors, right? So there are a bunch of eye decad kalapa in the Ido, and all of them have foreground element, right? And the eye transparent element as well there. Because if they are having foreground element, then there arises eye translucency or the eye transparent element. So that's the case. So you must know those things. That means if you in this āyatanapabbaṃ or the 5-6 sense doors and 6 internal bases and the external bases section, this is the discernment you must know, right? Therefore, Buddha mentioned chakkuncha pajanati, rupecha pajanati, and then if you actually when you discern the eye transparent element fully in this way, that means with the four defining devices, Lakkana di Chatukka or the Lakkana Rasa Pachupatan Padatthana, characteristic, function, manifestation, and the proximate cause, then you have understood the eye transparent element as the Buddha pointed out, Chakkuncha Pajanati, like phrase, right? So here mention the total practice. So try to understand. this is not my word. This is the Atakatha and Tika says, and this is how meditator must practice. And this, if you practice in this way, only you can attain Nibbana. You can get rid of your suffering from the incessant sansara, right? Okay. And then the next phrase, Rupecha pajanati ti bahidda chatu samuthanika rupancha yathava sarasalakkana vasena pajanati. It says Rupe mean now you know the color object, right? The color object also he must understand, right? He must understand with the bahidda chatu samuthanika rupan. That means Bahidda mean outside of the eye translucency, right? Bahidda mean here. Outside of the eye translucency, uh, Chatu Samuthanika Rupa. Chatu Samuthanika Rupa mean, what is the Chatu Samuthanika mean? You know, Samuthanika mean generation, generating, arising, or producing. So Samuthanika. Chatu mean four. So then, to arise the materiality, there are four causes, right? Four causes. What are they? Your karma is one cause. Now we discussed just before. And the other thing is your mind depending on your heart base, right? Mind depending on your heart base. Actually speaking, you know, in the case of Patisandhi or the birth linking mind movement, except the birth linking mind movement, other all mindsets they are arise or they depending on the heart base, they produce materiality, right? Materiality. So those materiality, what is called chittaja rupa, consciousness born materiality. So karma born materiality and then consciousness born materiality. And then when you take when you take the food, edible food, there arise what called aharaja rupa, nutriment materiality, right? And then every rupa kalapa has temperature, right? Or the fire element, that fire element has its own power to produce another generation of materiality, what is called utuja rupa, or the temperature born materiality. So therefore, how many causes for the materiality to produce? Four causes. Your karma, consciousness, nutriment, and the temperature element in the rupa kalapa. So based on now here it says rupecha pajanati ti bahidda chatu samuthanika rupancha. So I told you, you just focus how you want to practice this thing. You just enter into the re-establish your fourth jhana, and then emerging from the fourth jhana, you just focus your ido in deep inside, right? And then you can see Ido or the eye base, you can see your Upakalapa or the materiality, ultimate materiality, as well as the Sammuti or the conventional materiality. Conventional materiality is the Rupa Kalapa. Ultimate materiality is inside the conventional materiality. You can see the Paramatta Rupa or the ultimate materiality. So if you see those things, Rupa Kalapa, and then you just focus bunch of Rupa Kalapa's color, right? Bunch of Rupa Kalapa's color. And then it impinge those Rupa Kalapa's color impinge on the eye sensitivity. So eye sensitivity is outside of the color, right? So therefore it is what is called Bahidda, right? Bahidda Chatu Samuthanika Rupa. That means those whatever the kind of rupa you just focus to impinge to make impinge towards the eye translucency, those are the chatu samuthanika rupa. That means the materiality risen with four causes, right? Four causes. So those also, so those rupe, that means color, right? Color also you must see with the sarasa lakkana vasena, yathava sarasa lakkana vasena. That means you that color also you must see the what is the color, what is the characteristic of the color, what is the function of the color, what is the manifestation of the color object, and what is the proximate cause to the color object. Right, that is the meaning. So here actually I explained those things. Therefore, So now you know what is the lakkana of the color, right? Lakkana or the characteristic of the color. It says chakku patihanana lakkana. Here it's not mentioned, right? Chakku patihanana lakkana. I will explain. Chakku patihanana lakkana. What is the meaning? Patihanana mean impinge, right? Impinge. So the natural characteristic of the color is to impinge on the eye transparent element, right? So characteristic of the color or the feature of the color is to impinge on the eye transparent element. That is what is called chakku patihanana lakkana. Now, how to discern? Actually, you should first discern the eye transparent element and then discern the color of the group of rupakalapas. And when the color impinge on the transparent element, you have discerned the natural characteristic of the color. That is very easy. If you attain to the jhana, those discernment are very easy. Okay, but now I explained many times, right? Okay. And then chakku vinyanasa visaya bhava rasam. And again I will tell chakku patihanana lakkana, right? The characteristic of the color is the to impinge the color onto the eye transparent element. Now chakku vinyanasa visaya bhava rasam. Now, here Visaya Bhava mean the object, right? The function of the color is to be the object of the eye consciousness, right? That is the to be the object of the eye consciousness. That is the Visaya Bhava Rasam. That is the function, right? Be an object to the eye consciousness. That is the function, right? So, how to discern? I will explain again. Actually, now you want to know the Panchadwara Chittaviti and Manodwara Chittaviti, so on thing. But actually, in the next day, I just, if I told only, you may not understand this thing. So therefore, we will move to this section. That means the color, function, characteristic, and the manifestation and the proximate cause. We will do next day because it takes time. And if we do not go to the Chakku Dwara Chittaviti, or we can say that is the Fido mental process, you can't understand this. So therefore, we will do next day. And now today we will stop this Dhammadesana. Mr. Pankaj, go for it. Thank you so much. You got many much of endeavor for this to show the. Okay.
Sadhu, Bhante. Again, what a great explanation and deep and profound explanation here, Bhante.
Yes,
We will do we have time, Bhante, to take few questions?
Yeah, few times. Yeah. Okay.
So, Bhanteji, again, very detailed and very profound explanation. Question.
Yeah.
When you are talking about eye translucency or eye sensitivity,
Yes.
they are multiple, right? They are in billions.
Yes.
But did I hear you correctly, or did I understand you correctly when you said that, but only one eye translucency really can sense the color and not all of them?
Yeah. Only one eye translucency gives the chakku vinyana or the eye consciousness, right? The other become field only, right? That's why Buddha mentioned rupancha chakkuncha pajanati rupecha pajanati, like that thing also, right? That means only one eye translucency there arise chakku vinyana. Other field, right?
No, so Bhanteji, what do you mean by field?
Field mean, the field mean
The
like
base
a
kind of
pasture.
foundation.
Yeah, no. Actually here the field. This is the object takes the object takes many bunch of rupa kalapa of the eye that contains the eye translucency. That means that is the field, right? It an extent gochara. In Pali, it is what is called gochara.
No, field
That
as in
means
farm field?
yeah, farm field, like, right? For example, for the
Okay.
cow, you have pasture, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you just release the cow, and he has the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many cow or one cow, he has the field. But here, in the same way, your color object impinge to the multiple eye translucency, but therefore that is the field, right? But there arise eye consciousness only in the one eye translucent element.
And
That is
so,
the
Bhantiji,
nature.
this is true with all the other four bases? There's
Yes,
only
yes.
one, one,
All
one.
the no, other all five bases, right? For
So,
example, if
Mhm.
you touch something, right, there arises many billions of kaya dasaka kalapa you have in your body, right? The special point you touch. So at that time also, there only one kaya pasada, or the kaya body translucency will give the consciousness. The other all become field only, right?
Okay, so Bhantiji, okay, so I think I just want to properly understand this. So, because we have two eyes, so
Uh,
are we then saying that in both eyes, there is only one translucency, the two translucency?
yes,
They,
yes. True translucency. They give the two eye consciousness, right?
uh-huh.
Right.
Uh, okay,
Like
but and then
uh,
on the tongue also there will be only one
yes,
consciousness,
yes. Tongue also, right? Only one.
and in the entire body only one kaya
No,
consciousness.
no, not entire body. You mean the special, because body you have the volume of body is, it expand, but a special point. For example, if you touch some finger, right, and then the other you may not have some object, the other rest of the body, right? I mean, only the special place. There you have multiple kind of chakku dasaka kalapa, but that special point also only one consciousness arise,
So in
right?
kaya also one consciousness arises.
Yes, I'm talking about the kaya, right? So, for example, let's say you have head and then neck, your body parts, and body parts mean your arm,
Mm-hmm,
leg, and trunk, like that, no? But
mm-hmm,
let's say now you are touching something, with the finger.
mm-hmm.
So at that time, only that finger area, something touch, you have multiple at that single area, right? Single, that mean in the finger only you have multiple or uncountable kaya dasaka kalapa, but they are also in the touch point also, you can, there arise only one consciousness, but rest of the body no need to arise something, because rest of the body you don't touch. Or if you are in the sitting position, also sitting position, your feet touch on the floor or somewhere, right? Or if you put some shoes or something like that, you touch that, and there arise consciousness there also, right?
Okay. So Bhantiji, the way then the better way to understand is at a so let's go back to the eye consciousness, right? So
Yeah.
you're saying that only one arises, but it could be on different translucencies, right? At different point of time. Is that okay?
Yes,
Because
yes.
see, now if we consider the example of touch of with a finger
uh,
with a, and the second example with a toe touching my
yeah.
toe touching something, right? So that time the consciousness arising there but you're saying only one consciousness arises, means
Yes,
only
yes. Only
one
one
translucent produces. But
Yeah.
similarly, in the eyes also, in the eye
Mm.
also, you might have
Mm.
billions of consciousness, but at
Yeah.
any point of time, only one arises, but that could change,
Yeah.
right? Means let's consider just for the simplicity.
Not billions of consciousness. You have billions of eye translucency,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes. So
Yeah.
let's consider
Yeah.
instead of billion, there
Yeah.
are only three consciousness, just for example's sake.
Yeah.
Let's consider. So it's possible that the consciousness, let's name them ABC.
Mm.
Okay, so first time when I saw one color, the consciousness arises on A,
Mm.
and the B and C are the field. The second
Yeah.
time the consciousness can arise on B, and A and C can be filled. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Or okay,
Yes, yes, yes. That correct. That it
okay,
is. We can say which one, right?
okay, okay. Ha, ha, ha.
Uh, right.
Understood, understood.
Mm.
Uh-huh. Okay, Bhanteji,
Good.
thank you so much.
Okay. Good.
This is
Good.
very profound.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Practice.
Yes, yes, Bhanteji. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay. Sukhi ho tu.
Hmm.
Bhante,
Ah,
if I have a kind of, I have a follow-up and I just wanted to kind of get my understanding clear as well here. If I ask that question, can I ask that question, Bhante?
Yeah, sure.
So in a chakku, we have, let's say, multiple chakku dasaka kalapa there.
Yeah.
And one at one mind moment or one time for that one
Uh,
chitta to happen
uh, uh,
on one of the chakudasaka kalapa, the consciousness arise.
yeah.
And for that consciousness, the surrounding chakudasaka kalapa or that field where these chakudasaka kalapa are there, it will
Uh,
pick up the color not only from the chakudasaka kalapa but from the other rupa kalapa. Those becomes the whole field. And then next time the consciousness might arise onto the neighboring Chakudasaka Kalapa, and again the field kind of remains in a similar area.
yeah, that's also possible. Then, but only one
One at a
place.
time,
But
correct? Yes, Bhante.
yeah,
I understand
uh,
one at a time
yeah,
because only one consciousness can be active at a time.
yeah,
Um, but within the field that arises, and that's how we get the whole sense of the total picture, Bhante, eventually.
no, no, no. Within the field, no arising of consciousness. So therefore, wherever you have consciousness, it gives the feeling or something like that. But feeling not only a feeling does not give. That means your eye consciousness, if whether the the color impinge into the chakku pasada, that feeling is that the feeling also arises in the chakku vinyana or the consciousness, but that feeling cannot understand what is the object, right?
No, but I understand that portion. By feeling, I mean when the fuss happens. That's what I was kind
Ah,
of trying to see.
contact.
Contact, yeah. Sorry, Bhante,
Yeah.
I used the wrong word.
Okay.
When the contact happens,
Ah,
and then for after 2, 3 mind moments, you will realize, oh, that's where the contact happened,
yeah.
and it was so and so color.
Ah,
And then another Chakku dasaka, another chitta viti would start with
ah,
Chakku. And
yeah.
at that time, the Chakku Vijnana will arise on a different uh,
Yes, of course.
right.
Different Chakku Dasaka Kalap, right?
And again, that one would have its own contacting Rupa Kalapa around it that would be from that surrounding field, surrounding area, where the contact would happen, because it takes the color of the multiple
Yes, Rupa Kalapa.
Rupa Kalapa. So there's multiple Rupa Kalapa are around it, surrounding it,
Yeah.
the field, right?
Yeah, we just focus around some kind of Rupa Kalapa, no?
Right, Bhante. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Uh,
Bhante. Yes.
Okay, Sukhi Hotu.
Nami Bhante.
Sukhi Hotu.
So Bhante, my question is like when actually we are practicing this, we could see like the one where the vijnana is arising, the chakku vijnana arising, and the other pasada rupa, they're not arising the chakku vijnana. So we can clearly distinguish between all those, although there are billions of chakku dasaka kalapa over there, Bhante.
Yes, yes. You can discern which kind of, even if you do not discern which chakku pasada that gives the consciousness, right? No problem, because when you take the chittaviti back, that means when you advert the chittaviti or the mental process back, then you can just focus and you can just discern the chakku vijnana or the eye consciousness, right? And that's the important thing. And then if you do not, even though you do not see which chakku pasada that gives the chakku vijnana, not a problem.
Yes, Bhante. And again, Bhante, that example taken previously, like if you are wearing our shoes and looking at it as well, so that the color of the object, like a shoes, suppose arising, as well as my feet are touching the shoes. So the kaya dasaka kalapa and all that touch is happening. I'm sensing that for Tabba and that door as well. But Bhante, only one time, at a time, only one vijnana can arise, right? Even though there are different doors, right?
Yes.
But one time,
Sure.
like chakku vijnana and then kaya vijnana, one at a time.
Yeah, because now you in a in a like what called eye blinking, right? One eye blinking, there arises many what called many millions of rupakala, or sorry, many millions of vijnana, or the many millions of consciousnesses. So that means your eye consciousness, that means your ido mental process going on very quickly in the ido and the heart base, and your body do consciousness in the feet also going on in the feet and the heart base very quickly. Those are very quickly. Now you know how about your mind is working. Mind arise very quickly and passing away very quickly, and because of that reason, your chit to go on to happen the chitta viti or the mental process, it takes very few time, right? That's why it says many billions of consciousness arises within one eye blink. So many chitta viti, many different chitta viti going on, right? So that can be possible. Even 5 sense dose, 6 sense dose chittaviti going on, right? At the same, not at the same time, but different time, but very quick. They are very quick.
Yes, Bhante. Yes, Bhante.
Yeah.
And Bhante, when we discern like each rupa kalapa, so that one of that kalapa, so we have to, I mean, my understanding is that each rupa kalapa, that atta kalapa, that 8 things, we have to discern one by one, and that like the Vanna is of that particular kalapa, Bhante, right? But when we discern, say like in the chakku area, if we are discerning the chakku area, that Vanna will be different from the liver. That kalapa would be something different. Like Vanna, is that how?
Yes, different. For example, if you see the chakku in the ido, if you see the kalapa, different color, right? Different color, maybe white and black, and sometimes light yellow, light orange, or even in the liver, you may see many black kalapa, right? White kalapa, many different kalapa. That means color different.
We can discern like differently too.
Yes, you can discern.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay.
Bhante,
Okay.
we have one more
Question?
raised hand again. Vinay, please go
Okay.
ahead.
So, Bhanteji, just to follow up on this one,
Uh-huh.
continuing the same discussion. So, on the
Uh-huh.
heart base, also, Bhanteji, we are talking about only one consciousness arising at a time.
Yes.
Is that right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Only one consciousness at a time.
Yeah, and then the
Hmm.
receiving and investigating,
Yeah.
Sampati Channa Santirna, that
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
mind keeps changing, right? Sometimes it will
Yeah.
take chakku, sometimes it will take a signal from kaya, sometimes from
Yeah.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, understood.
Different.
So, yeah, Bhanteji, one more question with regards to
Uh,
our earlier part of your desana today,
uh,
when you were
uh,
talking about the fetters.
uh,
So ultimately, Bhanteji, these wholesome, unwholesome are our chetasikas,
hmm.
right? Out of those 52. And when
Yeah.
we say that when we attain the Magga Phala,
Uh,
essentially we are uprooting these unwholesome, wholesome sankhara,
yeah. Usually
right?
uprooting wholesome, not wholesome, uprooting the unwholesome, right?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But
Yeah.
sometimes, Bhanteji, it's confusing
Uh,
when we say that the Arhant mind doesn't have wholesome as well and unwholesome as well as wholesome,
Yes, yes.
right?
I have mindset why it become like that, because if they do something, they are only just a function, right? No any they are what called, they are javana mind movement, impulsion mind movement,
Yep.
only the functional mind movement, right?
But
That
but
means
but under Bhanteji, but still it is under the Mahasobhana, right? So
yeah,
the
Mahasobana
wholesome,
Kriya or the
yeah,
functional mindset. Hmm.
yeah. But then, do they wholesome ones arise or no?
Yes,
Are
yes,
they
yes.
there?
For
They
example,
do.
if they pay respect to the pagoda,
Hmm.
there arises like Somanas, Sagata, Jnana, Sambhukta, Asankarika, Sasankarika mindsets, right?
Okay,
But those
perfect.
mindsets, like us, they do not produce any wholesome or unwholesome thing, right?
Perfect. Understood. So
Okay.
essentially, we are saying we are uprooting the unwholesome ones, right?
Unwholesome, yeah.
Okay. So now my
Yes.
question is,
Uh,
and this is all happening in our mind consciousness, right? Heart base and mind
yes.
consciousness, all this sankhara, right?
Hmm, hmm,
So if objective is that,
hmm.
we just do Dhammānupassanā, Bhanteji. Why do we do Kāyanupassanā?
Yeah, but our mentality depend on the materiality, right? So,
So,
for
but yeah,
example,
in
if
that case,
we,
I'll just focus on the heart-based materiality and not focus on rest of the body.
but here the thing is, if you do this Dhammānupassanā āyatanapabbaṃ only,
Hmm.
but that is not enough. Buddha said that is not enough. Why? Uh, that means you discern halfway only, not what is called. It is actually it is not enough to the nibbana. To see the nibbana is deep object, no. So
Hmm.
go to the deep object, you must discern. Atakata says anavasesena, without remainder, right? Without remainder, you must discern, right? Again and again, you must discern. It says, right? Anu bujjanattena anubodo, they say, right? That means you need to practice again and again to reach to the anubodha jnana. That means Anubodha jnana means that is the what called Namarupa Paricheda jnana and the Paccaya Parigraha jnana also what is called Anubodha jnana. That means you need to practice again and again as well as whole thing. That means Kayanupasana, Vedananupasana, Chittanupasana, Dhammānupasana. Otherwise, you can't reach to the Nibbana. Right? If you go with one end, right? One Anupasana. Because you need to understand the Four Noble Truth ultimately, right? In the case of Four Noble Truth, you must discern your Dukkha Satya Dhamma and the Samudaya Satya Dhamma, right? And you must attain to the Nirodha or the cessation, and when you attain to the Maggapala, you must that Magga mind and the Phala mind. There you must have 8 kind of factors in the Arya Tangika Magga. So then that's the case. You must understood the 4 noble truths. If you go on one way, sometimes you understand only one noble truth, right? Or nothing, no noble truth understand. Okay.
Mhm.
So therefore, you must one like contemplation is not enough. Dhammānupassanā, like one contemplation is not enough. I mean, not at the end, right? If you focus all the anupassana with the all dukkha satchidhamma and the samudaya satchidhamma, and then if you practice vipassana, even kayanupassana, vedananupassana, chittanupassana, dhammanupassana, and if you finish this discernment and the practice, if you take one only, for example, Dhammānupassanā, āyatanapabbaṃ only you are practicing, at that time you can attain to the Nibbana because you practice before everything.
So, okay, Bhantiji. So I'm just trying to understand the reason behind it. So let's consider that in Dhammānupassanā, one of the factors is conceit, right? The attachment to self, right? And is that the reason that, Buddha wanted us to see that the self is nowhere in the heart or nowhere in the body, and that's the reason the Kayanupassana is also important? Or are we saying that the first noble truth, which is dukkha satya dhamma, is there everywhere, not just in all the 5 aggregates, right? Basically all 5 aggregates are my dukkha.
So yeah. So
that's
therefore,
the reason we want to do that.
Yes, because you have 5 aggregate and only one aggregate, discerning and practicing vipassana, only one aggregate, you can't reach to the Nibbana, right? If the Buddha says 5 aggregate, you must discern the 5 aggregate, right? That means 5 aggregate means dukkha satchidhamma. Okay? So that is also case. Huh? That means basically you just understand according to the Chatura, what called the 4 noble truths, right? You must discern the 4 noble truth.
So Bhantiji, does that mean people who are in immaterial realm, where there is only mind, that's easier to, because they don't have to do Kayanupassana?
Yes, they don't have Kayanupassana. They only have Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and the Dhammānupassanā. Right? Even no āyatanapabbaṃ also. Right? They don't have āyatanapabbaṃ. Because the āyatanapabbaṃ also materiality you have. Right? Then not easy, right? Not easy. If you go there as a Sotapanna state or Sakadagami state, only can go up to the Nibbana, Arhanship, right? If you go as a Putujjana, worldling, you never can attain, right? So don't go there, therefore. So Buddha said, don't go to the worldling, don't go. But to the Maggapala, they can go, right? Okay?
Yeah, Bhantiji. Thank you so much.
Okay, Sukhi Hotu. So let's stop then, Mr. Pankaj.
Bhante, I just had one question that came out of our earlier talk. So my question is, we have multiple Chakku Dasaka Kalapa. Consciousness is alive on one. For the heart base, are there multiple heart Dasaka Kalapa as well, Bhante?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Yes, of course. But in the heart base, you have multiple heart base, Hade Dasaka Kalapa. On the Hade Dasaka Kalapa, you have heart materiality, right? But mind depends on maybe many billions of Kalapa, right?
Right.
That is another thing.
Right.
Only the Chakku Vijnana and the other 5 sense does this case.
Yes, Bhante. Yeah. Yes, Bhante. Sadhu, Bhante. So profound again, Bhante. Much gratitude, Bhante. Much merits to you.
Okay, sadhu. Then let's stop, no? Thank you all the listeners who listen this Dhammadesana. This is the Buddha's real teaching. and try to attain jhana and try to practice materiality and mentality meditation, and then go for it. Now we accumulate much merits, and then we need to share with you all. Idamme punyang asavakkaya hotu. Idamme punyang nibbanasa paccayo hotu. Mama punyang bhagan sabbe sattanam bhajemi. Te sabbe me samang punyang bhagan labhantu. Buddha sasanam chiram tithatu. Buddha sasanam chiram tithatu. Buddha sasanam chiram tithatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.